Today, I'm sitting down with my good friend and someone who has been through just about every high and low that comes with being in the public eye, Shane Dawson. From being one of YouTube's biggest creators to facing the harsh realities of being canceled, Shane has experienced it all. But what's most inspiring is how he's used this time to reflect, grow, and work on himself. Not just for his own healing, but so he can be the best version of himself for his family. Now, a new dad to twin boys, Shane is stepping into a whole new chapter of life, and I can't wait to talk about fatherhood, self-growth, and what he's learned from the past few years. Here's the interview. I hope you love it as much as I did. Thank you for chatting with me. It's good to see you.
I'm so excited.
I know it's been too long.
I am nervous.
Really?
Well, because we're actually friends. Mm-hmm. So it's like this weird thing of like, because we've been talking for like 2 hours before this. Just in my kitchen. So now it's like, okay, there's cameras and microphones. I don't want to like, I don't know.
Protest too much.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, am I going to go into like a fake voice or something? Because sometimes with podcasting, you go into like, hey,
I'm on.
And then I don't want to scare you and then be like, who the hell is that?
No, I've seen you in all facets, I think.
Thank you.
So we're all good.
Ooh. I had a question. Your chapstick. Mm-hmm. It looks like glue stick.
It does.
Okay. Because yeah, I've been wanting to ask you about. I'm like, I'm gonna save it for the podcast because I feel like that's an icebreaker. It really does. Do you want to show? What is that?
I've used it forever. It's a cocoa butter stick.
It looks like glue stick, right?
Uh-huh.
All my drag queens.
And all of my viewers say like chapstick or glue stick, but really chapstick. They call it. And
Wait, so this is a thing? Mm-hmm. I knew it.
I've been using it for years, and I think honestly, like in the future, it'll probably be one of my first products. I'll make something like that, but I'd make it better.
Can we talk about, I don't know what the plan is for this, but can we talk about our Shark Tank moment?
Of course.
Because I'm using it right now, kind of.
Oh, okay.
In a way. Mm-hmm. So every time that we would get together, we're usually on a couch. That sounds weird, but we are. True. And I always grab a pillow and I do this, and I call it my safety pillow.
Yes.
Like my comfort pillow, my safety pillow. And then you're like, why do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. It must be like a fat kid thing. And then I was like, I've always wanted to, like, I feel like it would be a good Shark Tank idea, like a pillow with arms in it and whatever. And then you literally had one made.
Yeah, and
like,
it's amazing.
Didn't you go to China?
No, my mom's friend is a seamstress and she makes pillows. That's like her main thing. And I just gave her the idea because everybody we went to, we couldn't figure out how to not lose the patent of it or the idea of it. Yeah. And people wanted to charge us like $10,000 to do this, or $1,500 was the cheapest we found, but then they would own so it just got weird. So then my mom's friend made them.
It's genius.
Yeah, it was a good idea. It was your Shark Tank moment.
They still around?
We sold out. Yeah.
Drag queen clap. It's just to protect the nails.
I wouldn't have known that, but now I know. So learn something new every day.
Everybody thought Ice Spice was doing like devil horns at the Super Bowl, but she was just drag queen clapping. Oh. So shout out Ice Spice.
Well, that's even like the little hearts. It wasn't a Korean.
I don't understand.
It's like love you.
Is it supposed to be? I don't understand it, but
that was like, I think it was a Korean thing.
Right.
The It Girls.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so that was our Shark Tank moment. Let's go back in time.
Okay.
I don't actually know, I was going to say a year, but I don't really know when you started on YouTube. And what made you, I don't even know, why did you start? What prompted it? What was your first video? I don't know any of those things. How have we not talked about this?
I usually try to avoid talking about...
I'm so sorry.
my trauma. No, I don't know. I just feel like because I've been doing YouTube so long, I'm like, it's just boring to talk about, but...
Some people might not know, like me.
Okay. All right. Well, so I started in high school. I had a teacher, Miss Barkemeyer, shout out. And she really loved movies. She was our English teacher, but she loved movies and film. Is that rain going to be too loud for you?
I kind of like it.
Okay.
It's like...
It's calming.
It is calming.
It makes me have to pee.
Behind the shed. Just kidding.
Yeah, we're currently in a shed right now. And I said, what if I have to pee in the middle of it? I don't want to ruin it. And then Rylan was like, well, just pee right outside the shed. I was like, oh, yeah, that's professional. We're friends, but like, that's a lot. I have to at least... okay, if I pee behind the shed, I at least have to wait 5 minutes so you think I went inside.
Fair.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Anyways.
So, okay. Teacher
yes,
Barkemeyer?
Barkemeyer.
Barkemeyer.
And yeah, she's like, she wanted us to do a video. Like, she wanted to teach us angles and like shot lists and all these things, which like for English makes no sense. But I was like, yeah, okay, I love movies. I want to be a director. So that was my first time doing something like that. And then I was like quiet, overweight kid. I had a couple friends, but like pretty to myself, got made fun of a lot. And when they showed my video, my class like laughed and really liked it. And it was the craziest feeling. And I had like, like the cool kids being like, man, that was funny. And I was like, oh my God, they're talking to me. They're looking at me. This is crazy. Oh my God, whatever. That stopped. Like they, if the video wasn't playing, I didn't exist. But the next year, my next teacher, Mrs. Ewell, shout out. She's like a friend now. Like we hang out.
Oh,
which
very
is
cool.
Very weird and interesting to hang out with
a teacher
as a friend. Like she comes to the house and like.
Do you still call her Mrs.?
Her name is Sarah. So,
okay.
But I'm tempted.
Yeah. Because I feel like I saw my first grade teacher maybe like 6 years ago and I was like, hi, Mrs. Cox. And she was like, you can call me Tiffany. And I was like, absolutely not.
Tiffany Cox is an iconic porn name, by the way. So
she would be like, oh, because she's so like buttoned up. You know what I mean? Like pearls.
Oh, no.
It's okay.
Oh, no. Sorry, Tiffany Cox. It's a good name. But yeah, so anyway, so that teacher was like, oh, you do videos, right? Because we all heard like the teachers were sharing your video with all the other teachers. And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, you should do a video for this assignment. So then I got to do a video about, I don't even remember what the first one was. Something, I think it's actually on YouTube, and it was part of like the things people were mad at me for, like, because it was offensive. I think
it's part of what people, sorry. It's just like, I'm like, oh my God.
Pardon me. No, so that I did this video, and I think it was about like dictatorship or something. It was a history class.
Okay. So
that video, I showed it to the class, and they loved it, and they were laughing, and I was just so excited and proud of it, and then my teacher shared it with the other teachers, and it kind of became this thing where all the teachers were like...
It went viral before viral was a thing.
Right. And a lot of things were going viral at my high school in a different way. But infections. So then I kind of the teachers would keep giving me video assignments, but it was weird because it was the only like time I would talk. I wouldn't even talk. Sometimes I wouldn't even be in them. I would just direct them. And then all the cool kids wanted to be in them. And they were like, one of them, by the way, this is a side note. I don't want to sound like I'm making fun of someone. Well, he killed someone. Well, I shouldn't. I'm in this weird part of my life, and I don't think it's having kids, because it honestly started after I got canceled. I don't like talking bad about anyone, or even if they're a bad person, or even if they
because you got it like in a big bad way, and you're like, I don't want to feed into this.
No, because I'm like, even if they're a piece of shit, like being on the receiving end of it, if they're a piece of shit and they have gotten justice or whatever,
justice was served or whatever they paid,
it's almost
paid
like
for it.
It's almost like me adding on to that isn't. It's not helping at all.
It's not necessary.
No. So granted, so he, I think he might get out soon.
Maybe that would be. Don't say anything.
Oh my God.
Safety first.
That's a good podcast guest. Wait a minute. No. So anyway, okay. He was a cool kid, really quiet, really shy. They tend to be. The murderers. Now I feel bad. I'm making fun of him. I feel bad.
That's
I think because I don't know the actual. I read all the court documents and stuff, and I think it was like a family member, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I hope he got help, and
he's doing better now.
And also rest in peace to the man he killed. Yeah, obviously. This is hard to talk about.
That's okay. So he was in the video.
Anyways, he was in the video killing someone, which is
foreshadowing.
Weird, right?
Weird.
He literally in the video, I was like, oh, what should we have you do? Because he's like just so quiet, and I was like, what if? Because he's the nicest kid. I was like, what if you just killed someone? Oh, because there's killing in the video. There's something. Yeah. Dictatorship, whatever. Yeah. So I had him kill someone in the video, and crowd erupts. Everybody laughs. Years later, not so funny.
Wow.
But anyway, so that teacher specifically, Miss Ewell, Sarah, just really changed my life. Like she also was a part of YouTube, because YouTube had just come out that year. I think it was 2005.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, she wanted to send the video to her friends and it was on a VHS. And then somebody in my class was like, oh, you should upload it to YouTube. And I was like, what is that? Okay, I guess I'll upload it. So it wasn't like, oh, I want a bunch of people to see this. It was literally like, I wanted to be able
sending it
to send it to my friends, or kids in my class could share it or whatever, or my teachers. So that's how I started on YouTube. And then I just kept uploading my video assignments to YouTube. No views at all.
Was it the same channel? Like it was still under
yeah,
your
it was
same
like
name?
I think that was my old,
Or like your high school name. It's almost like your first email or something.
Yeah, it was like my real name.
KatieBug6532 at Hotmail. Yeah.
So yeah, and then about in 2000, so I graduated high school, and during that time, me and my friends would just be filming videos on the weekends. Like we did a Pimp My Ride parody because that was popular, and music video parodies and stuff. And me and my friends would get together every weekend and make a dumb video, post it on YouTube. Once again, not like to get views because there wasn't any.
Well, that's the thing people don't realize about YouTube is that back in the day, even when I started in 2011, you couldn't like make money. You couldn't even pick a thumbnail. You hoped that one of those 3 frames was not like, you know.
And the people who would just put like a picture of boobs like right in the middle of the video and like hope that was a thumbnail.
That it got picked.
And I remember I tried, not with boobs, but I tried it with something. Like it was Miley Cyrus or some stupid like photoshopped image of something. And I put it like right in the middle of the video and it didn't work. So then like you're watching this video and there's just like a shot of Miley Cyrus like. Anyways. So yeah. Graduated, started working, doing videos on the weekends and stuff, still posting them. And then I started working at Jenny Craig. I lost a bunch of weight through the program, and I think they're gone.
Is Jenny Craig? I don't know.
They might still do online stuff.
Okay.
We had a bad falling out. but I'm on my new wave. I wish them well.
Yep.
But I think they're bankrupt. But no, so worked there, and I actually got fired because of a video I made for YouTube there. And I think this was on my my current channel.
Okay.
And yeah, it was just like a day in my life, but I tried to make it funny, and all my coworkers who were, older women, like were in it, and we were reading Valerie Bertinelli. Do you know who that is? Queen. Although I think she might have got me fired.
Oh.
But new wave. She wrote this book called Losing It. Good title for a weight loss book. But it was like a book about her life, and we had to give it to all the new customers. Like as a
it was like part of their promo and part of their sign up.
So I'm signing up these women, and I'm like, oh, and here's a copy of the book. And then I had one client who, and I love that job, by the way. I loved everything about it. I loved like because I'd see the same people every single week and help them lose weight and like get really close to everyone. So I thrived in that environment. I loved it. I love my coworkers. And so anyway, so the book, one of my clients came back. She's like, have you read this book? And I was like, honestly, no. And she goes, you should read it. And I was like, why?
Because you're handing it out to everybody.
She went to a chapter she bookmarked, and it was like cocaine, a hell of a drug. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh my God, this book is so good. And it's a good book, but it's crazy, right?
It's like her memoir kind of. Yeah.
So she was married to Van Halen?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah,
she's had a hell of a life.
It's a crazy book. And I just thought it was so funny that we're handing it out to all, whatever.
Cocaine, a hell of a drug.
So I was like, how funny would it be if I have my coworkers and some of my clients read passages from it with like, a song underneath. So it's like, my coworker Maggie, with red hair, big glasses. And I like made a character after her years later. And she was like, cocaine, hell of a drug. My ass still hurts from that night. Like it was like really crazy. And so I put that video up on YouTube and nobody saw it. I mean, maybe, I don't even remember the numbers, but it was in the hundreds of views.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like whatever.
Yeah, it's only got 10 million views or something.
But someone saw it. I don't remember exactly how this all went down, but I'm pretty sure that was what got not just me fired, but like multiple people at our my mom, my brother, they also worked there. Maggie, it was my first like, and I don't know what your thoughts are on God or the universe or how any of that. We talked about it a little bit, but that was definitely like my first moment of a life altering event that affected other people's lives that like really just messed me up, put me in a really dark place. I still have guilt over it because other people lost their jobs because of, and they all were supportive of me. Like, cause I was 18. I was like, I wanted to die. I just felt so horrible. And they were just like, you know, it was really hard. But, and I kept in touch with all those people, and like, we're also supportive of each other. And then YouTube reached out, literally, like, I made a video about it. Like, I got fired. It's a cringy video.
Does it still exist online?
I think so. I had a vest on. It was a lot.
Oh, a vest.
Yeah. It's bad. But I made this video called YouTube Got Me Fired. And somebody at YouTube, like the head of partner programs, which I didn't even know existed, and the guy that was now running that hit me up. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, hey, we have this program, saw your video. Like, do you want to be in it? And I was like, sure. And then so I kind of just kept making videos. I wasn't really making much money. I was like a security guard at one point. I had a bunch of odd jobs. And then I did a video making fun of Fred.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And that did well. Like, I think it got 100,000 views or something.
Wow.
And I made money on it. And then I was like, oh, I could make this my job, I think. And then I just put everything into it. Like, from that point until I got canceled, it was like, I don't know how many years that is. 2008 to 2020.
It was 2008 when you started?
When I started, like, really...
Yeah, like focused?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, that was a long-winded answer involving murder. So I wasn't expecting to go there. But Katie, you bring it out of me.
No, but it's interesting, like, how you came to even think of creating content honestly, because of school.
Well, me and my brother...
You always liked it, it sounds like.
Yeah, like me and my brother would make... My uncle had a, like, VHS camera. Mm-hmm. So me and him would, like, borrow it and make our own, you know... We would do, like, a Cribs parody with my grandma or something. Uh-huh. And, like, she'd be a rapper or whatever. And we would always be filming things, but there's nowhere to post them.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to make movies and direct and stuff. So, yeah, YouTube kind of just... But it's interesting now, like... Now that YouTube is kind of like the old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With like the new things happen, the TikTok and
even Instagram.
The TikTok. Oh my God, I'm such an old person.
How old are you? You have kids.
The Blueberry. I just made that up. I don't know if that's a thing or not. You know, but yeah, it's like it's interesting because I'm like, wow, if that was around when I was a kid, that's how I would have.
Yeah, that would have been your way.
Done it.
And we didn't have phones like this either.
No.
So, like, I didn't have a cell phone until. And they were like not video phones. No. It was like a bulky, like the battery was this thick.
Yeah.
And the thing, you'd pull out this tiny little antenna. Yeah, totally different.
Yeah, I heard a Nokia, like one of those old ringtones recently on like somebody who's younger. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, I know. Like, it's funny because it's so old. And I was like, ouch. Wow. Mm-hmm. Ouch. But yeah, so I'd always been making videos, but that was my answer.
Yeah. So... like 15 years or so. When did you get canceled? What year was that?
Which time?
I know. I don't know. One I was part of.
Which
one I wasn't part
time? No, I got... You know what's interesting? Like, I've never talked about this. Like, it's weird to talk about because I'm not someone who's, like, bitter about being canceled.
I wouldn't say I'm bitter about it either. That's not the experience.
Right. Because you kind of have to like take it as kind of the same way that me getting fired and how all that went down and it affected other people. Because me getting canceled always affected the people around me. Like the most recent big one, like affected my husband, my, you know, the closest people to me. And that was at such a different level. Because like I'd been through it with the Jenny Craig thing. This was at such a different level where, like, it really did feel like there was no way out of it, or there was no
it was
light.
Different. It was a whole different level.
It very much felt like people wanted me dead, kind of thing. And
which is scary and terrible.
But once again, I'm weirdly, and I think it's because I was really deep. I'm still do therapy every week, but I was super deep into therapy at that moment. I started therapy. Honestly, a month or two
I would say not before. Yeah, not that much longer.
Right before, right when COVID started. And I was like, you know what? I need to do therapy.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was definitely going down a dark road of not just workaholic, but also like body stuff, and like it was dark. And so I started therapy. And then I remember I was trying to explain to her like what I do and whatever. And then I got canceled. And having her was like such a godsend, such a universe orchestrated. Because if I didn't have that, you know, because it was already almost game over, but like knowing, well, yeah. So, but anyways, throughout that, it kind of was like, okay, this was supposed to happen. Obviously, I still take accountability for all the shitty jokes I made and all the terrible videos and all of that. I've never been someone that's like, you know, like, you guys are overreacting. I think some people who wanted me dead were overreacting.
Well, I'm going to say there was some overreaction.
Definitely was some of that. I think it was also just the time period. It was such an intense COVID, like, but I think everything happens for a reason. So for me, it was like, okay, this was a life-altering event. What am I learning from this? It made me focus on, I like didn't look at my phone for months, like almost a year. I had to not look at any social media app because anytime I opened one, it was me and somebody chaos. Being mean, or it was like panic attacks every day. I mean, imagine like, this is the craziest feeling. So, okay, when I did start finally watching like YouTube again, because I couldn't,
well, everybody, that's what bothers me. Just short side note. I get it because like I felt the smallest amount of cancellation with the Jake Paul series.
Right.
And I think the thing that bothers me the most about any of this isn't the fact that like people don't like it or they don't agree with things. That's fine. And like I'd own up, okay, maybe I should have said it this way, or maybe I shouldn't have read from the DSM or whatever people's complaints were. But it's the people who hop onto this to make money off of the fact that all they do is like shit talk someone. And I'm like, that's the part that bothers me. If there's like a learning, I'm like, I own up. Okay, if I did something wrong, it's fine. I apologize. But when people want to pretend to know me when they don't, or know you, that's what bothers me.
Yes.
But that's what like the whole social media, like it spins out of control, and then you can't open your phone, and yeah, I hate that.
And I think like everything, you learn from everything, and everything does affect you in a way. And I think people who maybe like make a living doing that, or were talking badly about me or whatever, even if they think I deserved it, I always know that person will learn something from that at some point. Like everything really is. Like even for me, like obviously I regret so many of my old videos, but I regret more like making fun of celebrities.
Oh.
Like that is really high up there for me. Like I remember when I first started YouTube, I was doing a lot because I love Mad TV. That was like,
I love Mad TV also.
Oh my God. I literally during COVID, I got a cameo from the, this is so, okay. This is how dark it got. So I'm, like debating whether I want to, anyways, it got dark.
It was dark.
And then I pulled it and I heard about Cameo, and people were talking about Cameo all the time. I got a cameo from, and as like I didn't say who I was, like I wasn't like, I'm a YouTuber. I literally like got cameos under like my middle name kind of thing, just telling me it's gonna be okay. This is so sad. This is so dark. Why am I saying this?
But you were reaching out. You were being resourceful.
I mean, I got some iconic one of those. I got.
I hope you still saved them and everything. Right?
They're probably on my phone somewhere. I got some from my mom. Like I got Lindsay Lohan.
Oh,
I know it was expensive.
I was just gonna say.
I got that one from my mom. She was having a hard time during COVID, so I got a Lilo for my mom. But anyways, yeah, everybody learned something from it. And like, yeah, making fun of celebrities, to me, my karma, I believe in karma a lot. And I think
same.
Getting canceled was karma for so many different things. But I think it also was just like really treating celebrities, not that I'm a celebrity, but treating Miley Cyrus or Lady Gaga or any of these people that I would like put on a wig and make fun of them. But I love them. And that's the thing. I'm like, I never hated any of these people. I was obsessed with them and I love them. And I was like, it's like Mad TV. I'm like making fun of them. And I would turn them into a character of themselves. Like I would do, Paris Hilton, like that's hot. Like I love Paris Hilton, but I was like, I loved her so much. I created a character to become her, but then it took on a life as of its own. And then I'm saying all these horrible things. And then people are like, You know what I mean? And so I feel like having it all happen to me, I was like, oh,
There are people too. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
yeah. And now it's like, I have dreams where I am, I'm like apologizing to Miley Cyrus in my dreams and being like, I've had like 10 of these dreams, and I pray about it. I'm like, I really hope I run into her at some point, and she, you know, she'll tase me and leave. But
well, you have to leave your house first.
Yeah, first, gotta leave the house. But like, I would love to just apologize to her and be like, you know, I'm so sorry. Like, and I think that is that would be a nice part of like my healing journey.
Well, yeah,
just being able to like not on a computer and not in a video and not whatever, like actually in real life. Like the other day we were at the grocery store and there was somebody who one of the things I got canceled for involved them. Like it was like me making fun of them or something, and I heard the clerk being like, they're here, and I was just like, so then I like creepily was like looking around the store, like trying to find them, like, because I would just like to go up to them and be like, I'm so sorry, you don't know who I am, you probably didn't even see it, but like I did a joke. Or even like Amanda Bynes, like back when she was going through it, I like did a parody and I like made a joke. I don't think it was that mean, but it was still like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You just rethink about everything and be like, oh wow, like I was not adding positive to people who needed it probably more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, it put things in perspective, right? Because I think sometimes when we're not in the middle of something, we can't imagine what it's like to be that other person. And then I think in general, I mean, you are a celebrity to some people, right? Like we have to consider when we put things out online, people can see us and think that. I would never think that of myself either. But to other people, it can seem that way, right? They've been watching us for years or something like that. But we often think of people that we see like on TV or on red carpets or on YouTube or online, that they're somehow like totally different. It's not like we dehumanize them, but maybe we kind of do, you know, like things people would be canceled for. Like I love Sex and the City and people are like, oh, that would not happen now. Like they couldn't say that joke. They couldn't say Ricky Martinville is on the, what did they say? It was like, he's bisexual. And she's like, isn't that just a layover to Gay Town? Canceled, you know.
I'm offended.
But you know, people make jokes about things that at the time were like, oh, that was funny. But then later it doesn't age well. So those didn't age well.
It is interesting that like at the peak of it, when I was like staying off the internet, I just started watching movies because I was like, well, that's safe because it's like movies. And that was hard because all my favorite movies are from a certain time period, right? Like 2000 to 2005. And I'm watching all these movies, and these movies I grew up watching on a loop, and they all are like so offensive and involve a lot of things I did. And like, and I'm watching them and I'm like, there was that gut reaction to be like, see, this is why I did what I did. See, this is what I grew up on. See. I just don't like when you can't, when you're like trying to blame things for shit you did. And it's like, and I did that a lot of my career. And I think just getting older and going through something like that, I was like, no, and I really started getting into, you know, the universe and stuff. And I'm like, if I don't accept that I had a big hand in this, then I'm never going to grow or change. And I'm always going to be like, whenever I see somebody getting canceled, I get a pit in my stomach. And my first gut instinct is to like, to reach out to them and be like, are you okay? Whatever. And then my therapist, I was talking to her about it, and she was like, and I was like, you know, I haven't been reaching out to them though, because people need to go on their own journey or whatever. But also like, there are some people who get canceled and they go the opposite way where they're like, fuck this.
Yeah, they get really
whatever,
bitter.
whatever. Which, not to judge that at all, because, you know, but for me, it's so scary because like, I don't want to go down that road, because if I go down that road, I don't know where I'm going to go.
I don't know where that leads.
Because it is hard. Like there is like, when I look back at like, oh, all these people liked me and now they hate me. But like you said, I think a lot of people didn't think of me as a person anyways. It was more like when I would go to the mall or something, I'd have a lot of people coming up for pictures and stuff, but you could tell who was actually watched me and who just knew me because my face is on YouTube, or like, oh, you were with Jake Paul or this or that, or I know you because you're problematic, or, you know, so it's like an interesting, like, oh, I was never a real person to a lot of these people. And if they hate me, that shouldn't affect me, because it's like the way that you watch Love is Blind and you're like, oh my God, I hate that guy. It's like, but if I met that guy and I knew him, I would probably be like, oh, he's a real person. It's like, that's another thing. Like, I used to hate watch a lot.
We all do.
And now that gets hard too, because I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, just that energy of like.
Well, then you're wallowing in negativity, kind of. It doesn't actually like take you anywhere you want to go, you know?
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I believe everything happens for a reason. I'm not super religious, but I'm definitely spiritual. And I believe that, like, you know, the universe has my back and it's like looking out for me. But it is, it's interesting to not even be part of the cancellation, the big cancellation, but to watch you go through it. Cause I became like weirdly protective. Not that I could do anything, but to the dehumanization bothered me. The thing that I told myself when we were going through the Jake Paul, the little cancellation.
God, that night. Do you remember that?
I mean, it's funny that we have that video that we filmed that will never see the light of day of us being like, remember when we wrapped it up and we're like, that was actually really feel good. But then people like hated me. So we're like, oh, we can't put that out because it's us being like, I think that went well. Oh, it's up in the bedroom in your old house.
Oh my God. We filmed it before the series came out, I think.
Yes. Because it was like our wrap up. We should randomly release it one day.
Oh
my video God. That never was.
So I'm sitting, we evacuated my house because we had a rat infestation, right?
Yes, because of that crack in the water. Oh my God.
We just finished the Jake Paul series, which was like, I love that series. I have regrets about it. No, I hate the word regret. I know I've said it a lot. I don't have regrets. I think it happened for a reason. But I do have things I would never do now. Like,
same. There's different ways I would have handled it. And
I wouldn't have like came so hard for people who I truly don't even know.
Yeah.
But like, because I wanted to support him, and I don't even think he was trying to come for people. It just became a very like toxic, intense, like, we want tea. But I still, and I don't know, I don't know if he hates me or likes me. I don't really know, but
I've seen him a couple times. He was friendly, super nice.
He's so sweet. And
yeah,
like,
so sweet.
During that whole experience, so nice. And yeah, so we're doing that series, but it really took everything out of me. I was like pissing blood. Literally.
No.
I got like all these infections because I was editing so much. Like,
you were overworking yourself. You weren't taking care of yourself. That's for sure.
No. So we were in this my office apartment. Like, there's like no lights in there. It's like really dark. I'm pissing blood. And then I get a call, and then
I don't even mean to laugh. I'm just like, oh my God.
I'm getting voice memos from everybody in Jake's life. Like, you need to expose this, or like, he fucked me over. Like, I'm getting DMs from Logan being like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it was so intense, right? And then you call me and you're just like, I'm getting canceled because of this series. And I was like, come over. So then you come over at night, and like, it's like dark and scary. Like, like, you're just like so shook, and I'm just like, sit down, and I'm like, okay, so this is how it's gonna happen. Like, this is what getting canceled feels like. It was such a crazy. We should have filmed that.
We should have filmed that. That would be the real video.
But yeah, I'm so proud of how you handled it too, because I mean, it was coming at us in so many different ways, because people were mad that we were using now I'm starting to remember. People were mad that we were using the word psychopath, sociopath,
or sociopath.
They were mad about that. It was like, people were mad that you were a therapist, but you were also I don't know,
creator. They didn't like that I read from the DSM. They didn't like that I called it icky. I got a lot of that.
Okay. First of all, but icky merch? I'm just
Why didn't we think about
iconic.
that?
No, but yeah, it's so funny though, like, looking back on that, like, but once again, for you, that was such a big cancellation. And is it lingered? Like, is it something that you still once in a while will see? Because to me, that was like the least of my cancellations.
Well, yes, because people created like hate videos about me and like all sorts of shit like that. Which the thing is, I think, first of all, I'm grateful for two things. Well, actually three. I'm grateful that I didn't go through it alone. That it wasn't something, and we walked into it accidentally, which meant we weren't prepared, but it also didn't come from a malicious place. Like, there was no harm intended. And I'm also grateful that I was an adult. Like, I didn't start YouTube when I was 16, and this happened when I was 18, and I didn't know who I was. Because the third thing is that I know who I am, and I know I'm not a bad person. But when people are talking trash about you all the time, it is like, it's still like a touchy spot for me. I'm like, oh, that feeling was like I didn't sleep. Like I'd go for walks and like I'd be afraid to get on my phone because people would be like talking shit. And I was just like overwhelmed. And so I couldn't even look online. Sean would check everything because I was like, I don't need feedback from people who don't know me, you know? But I think I'm grateful for it too, because to live in like Pollyannish land of like, oh, everybody always likes me isn't real either. And people aren't going to like me, and that's okay. And I know that like in my real life, you know, and it also showed me who real friends are, which is also unfortunate.
Well, it also, though, think about the path you and me could have went down if we didn't get backlash. That's the other thing I think about. I'm like, well, if it would have went over well and everybody was like, we love, you know, whatever, then it's like, all right, who are we going to do next? And now you become one of those like therapists that's like, without even meaning to, kind of being sketchy and doing
like weird reality stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, and then you're like, but everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. And then 10 years later, it's like, no, now you can't, you've been horrible.
Yeah.
It's like because when you do like get attention and applause for things, you know, even like my high school things, like those were way more offensive than what I was doing on YouTube. And my teachers were spreading, like, you know what I mean? People were liking it. And then years later, it's like, oh. So yeah. I do think it's good that there was that. But also at the time, I don't know if we talked about this. I know we've done videos since, but at the time, I reached out to you because you were on my podcast back in the day. And at the time, I was dealing with some people in my life who really hurt me. And it's not drama, it's not YouTube related. It was just people in my life who really hurt me. And I fell down this rabbit hole. And I found your channel of like narcissists and things that, you know, empaths and this and that. And I started getting down this really intense hole of like, these people in my life are narcissists. They are hurting me, and they don't care. They don't have empathy, and they're, you know, sucking my energy and this and that. And then so I got really almost unhealthily into that, where I was reading books. I read every book about sociopaths.
I remember I even brought you some because you asked for more.
I was watching every 7-hour Dr. Ramani video, which queen, but I was watching it, you know, and I got so deep in that rabbit hole of like turning these people in my life into, you know, almost like cartoon characters of like, they have no feelings. They're, you know, horrible. They hate me. They want me to die. They're bad people. They're taking advantage of me. They're fake. They're not real. Like, and I got so deep into that. Then I started seeing people calling Jake Paul a sociopath. And I knew he wasn't because I had had interactions with him and I just didn't see the specific signs that I thought were signs.
Yeah.
And so when I reached out to him to do a series, I think we had reached out to each other. And I was like, I have this idea. It's like about you being a sociopath and me kind of trying to figure it out. I was like, are you okay? And he was like, sure, whatever. He's like, I don't even know what that means. And I was like, okay, I can tell you. But so that was kind of my, like, I was so deep in that rabbit hole that was my, and this is a bad mission, but my mission for that series was to show people that I thought were struggling like me, hey, there's a word for this. These are the people that are hurting you. You need to get away from them. Like, don't take it personally. They don't have feelings. They don't care. Like it was so toxic. And that's why when I asked you, like, would you want to talk about sociopaths and stuff? And then you brought stuff up I didn't even know. And like, I was coming at it from a place of like, I'm trying to help people by exposing that some people are bad and we're just victims of it. And that's a terrible mentality anyways, because that's like such a victim mentality, which I don't want to have. Yeah. But also like turning people into, once again, monsters, dehumanizing them, and like using Jake Paul as kind of like the face of it, even though we never said he was a sociopath. Yeah. But it kind of like, I don't know. So now looking back at that, I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, I could have literally just done a series about what Jake Paul's life is like. And that would have been interesting enough.
That house was very interesting. Oh my God.
Like, can you imagine? We saw the wrestling.
Yes, the wrestling ring. And now he like.
When people thought it was a joke. And now he's like making bajillion dollars wrestling.
Boxing.
I'm so stupid. I literally don't know anything.
No,
yeah,
you're
but
fine.
He had like mousetraps.
That guy jumping into the mousetraps. I was like, oh my God.
It was such a wild experience, but I don't regret the series. I'm happy.
And the Legos in the walls.
The Legos on the walls.
So there's,
How do you sell that? house
I don't
with the Legos on the walls.
Just seal
That's
it
a
up.
specific buyer.
But imagine if you found it when you were renovating.
You
You're
know
like,
what?
oh my God, hidden Legos.
I'll buy it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I can afford it.
I definitely can't.
But yeah, that was such an interesting, like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, and I think that is also part of my like karmic thing. It's like, I don't know, not to say I deserve all this bad stuff, but I do think, you know, the pendulum swings and things happen how they're supposed to happen. And I was like, oh wow, it's dehumanizing, not just celebrities, but people in my life. Like, and that's why in therapy now, if I have somebody in my life who's hurting me or whatever, I try so hard not to villainize them and turn them into like, they're all bad.
Yeah.
They're a bad person. They hate me. They're this or that. Because that's not true. And that's like,
Well, it's technically what we call splitting behavior.
yeah.
And it is part of BPD, but other people do it. Like, it's not just a BPD trait. But I think that's the thing is like, people are never all good or all bad.
No.
Like, I don't believe in that at all. And I think when we start making those sweeping judgments, you know, that's when we find ourselves dehumanizing someone.
But here's the craziest part.
Okay.
I was doing it with people in my real life who I thought were hurting me or using me or what. And listen, a lot of them were. Like, I wasn't making it up. But with like my videos and stuff, my whole other mission was like, oh, I want to show that people aren't all bad. So like the series I was doing on, you know, Jeffrey. And I, cause I love him. And I was like, I want people to see what I see. There's a gray area like nobody is. Cause I'm not a black and white person at all. I always see the gray area, but it's only like specific people in my personal life. And I haven't been like this for years, but there was a moment where it was like specific people in my personal life who I was just like, they're out to get me, you know, like, and even if they were, and I found out later they were, like, I still don't like when you're shit talking someone that hurts you. And, you know, my goal is always now to be like, okay, it's not as personal as I'm making it. This is how they are. They probably don't even know what they're doing. They're, you know what I mean? Like, they want attention or whatever. It's like, I can't villainize people because then and then when you villainize someone and then you never confront them, you get more mad. You hate them more and more and more.
It honestly only affects you.
Only affects, and everything they do now is personal, like everything. And you're just like, oh, they hate me so much. They're doing, and it's like, wow, you should just talk to a friend or a family member and be like, hey, this thing you did hurt me. Can we talk about it? And that will save you 5 years.
But we're also afraid to have those conversations because it could lead to conflict and like, oh, what if then they hate me? Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, I totally agree. One of the best pieces of advice my therapist always gives me is to like, when I want to run away or like isolate or avoid, I should lean in and give someone an opportunity to like apologize or explain or just hear me out. And I have to give her credit, shout out to Caroline, that when I do lean in and when I say like, hey, you said that and that hurt me, I've never had it backfire. I've always had them be like, oh, I didn't realize. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what was I make? I'm like, I've been stressing for like 4 days.
Or it does, because there has been very recently in our life. And once again, I feel like I always have to put a disclaimer. It's not YouTubers. It's not that.
It's no drama. Like, yeah.
It was like a personal life thing. And I had this person who, you know, because I've been trying to just do what you said, like right away, right when the thing happens, being like, hey, so I don't know if you meant to do this, but this kind of hurt my feelings, whatever. And when it does go bad, you're like, oh, thank God I did it. Because I could have been close with this person for years and just kept avoiding it. Because like with this person, I was like, hey, you know, you kind of did this thing and it hurt our feelings, you know, whatever. And then they went off on me.
Oh, and that tells you everything. You're like, okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is not the greatest energy. You have some stuff to work on. I think we shouldn't do this anymore together. Like, so, and when that happens, it's like, or if you get a text from somebody and you get a pit in your stomach.
Oh, that's an indicator. Your body's telling you, like, this isn't good.
You should probably get out of this. Like, you should probably, so it's like, okay, or if you like, we had this one person who, I was like trying to be so nice about it. And I was like, I want to be really nice about it and just tell them, hey, this isn't working out. And so, you know, I sent it and I was like, worst case scenario, they say, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah. Fuck
right?
you. Blah, blah, blah.
And then we get the text and it's the worst case scenario. And I was like, all right, good to know. But also the fact that I knew exactly what the worst case scenario
Yeah.
would be,
Means that you already kind of
means
knew.
you already knew.
Yeah.
You already knew. So trust your gut.
Yeah. What you can learn when you stop avoiding tough things and you start leaning in life and in work. It's like, and I feel like in different times too, we have different perspectives of things. And through cancellations, through shit talking online, like we both have grown.
Honestly, yeah.
Because you were really overworking yourself. Like I remember thinking that, but you can't make somebody change. And also you were killing it. Things were going really well. And I was happy for you.
Killing it, I guess, but also so miserable. Like so.
And I didn't know the depth of that either.
I was fulfilled creatively and proud of what I was making more than ever. But I also wasn't spending time with Ryland. What I would do is I'd be editing, always editing something. And then I'd be like, oh, I can take a 20-minute dinner break. So we'd eat dinner together for 20 minutes and we'd be in the middle of a show. And I'm like, I got to go back to editing. And then I'd leave him. And that was our life for years, a couple years. And then I think, I don't know if I already talked about this, but the big aha moment, I guess, it was the night before the conspiracy palette came out. And Ryland loves holidays, loves them, decorates for every holiday, loves it. And it was Halloween night, but I didn't know. I wasn't registering. I was just thinking about the palette. And I was just like, what should we do? Should we, I was editing. I was like, should we do something? Whatever at the palette. And then I was like, I got to edit. And then he was just like, it's Halloween. And I looked around and I saw all the little
decorated
things.
everything.
I didn't even notice, the candles and the little pumpkin here and a little pumpkin there. The things that he had been getting from Home Goods,
And he switches everything out.
you know what
for
I
all
mean?
this.
And he probably did show me, but I wasn't paying attention because I was thinking about the edit. And I just started bawling. And he was like, it's okay. You're working. I get it. I was just a mess. I was like, I hate myself. I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm quitting YouTube. It was such a dramatic night. I was like, I'm done. I don't care anymore because I was so overworked and tired from the whole conspiracy series, which I love. I'm so proud of it. But people think, oh, it's just a cash grab. Whatever. I don't want to get into that. But it was a year of my life.
Yeah.
A year of not sleeping, a year of editing. We had hundreds of hours of footage. I mean, we filmed
The amount of drives.
everything. It was and we were just up all night editing. And at that point, and then the palette comes out and it's a success. But even that day was borderline horrible because the website broke.
Yep, I remember.
And then there was drama with that. But then it was such a high because then we go to the meet and greet and it's so much love. And it was such a, and then right after that, I remember Jeffrey was just like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do after this? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. What do we do? What do we do? I don't know. And then it was a few months later where, I got canceled and it was almost and I was planning another series with someone else. And I knew it was going to take up my life and it was going to be one of those. And then I got canceled and I was just the universe really was hey, if you're not going to take a break,
I'm going to force you to take a break.
I'm going to fucking force you in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
But now it's that 2021, I think I'd say it was 2021, 22 is the best years of my life so far. And it was probably the most failure of career-wise for me because I was canceled. I wasn't posting. I wasn't making things, whatever. But me and Rylan got so close. We our bond was so intensified. We started working on having kids. And then everything.
You got married.
And then everything since then has been I still post and I'm doing the podcast and trying to make videos and stuff. But at 7 p.m. when the babies go to sleep, me and Rylan spend all the time together at night. I'm not editing. I'll wait till he goes to bed.
Are you still a night owl? I wondered.
Still a night owl. If it's yes and no, some days I have to be up, at 7 for the babies. But yeah, pretty much but now I'm not, I'll just push things. I'll be you know what? I'm supposed to post this video on Saturday, but I want to go have a day with Rylan and the boys and whatever. So I'm just going to ask the brand or whatever, can I push it away?
Wow. That's
Which
would never. No, I was
my whole life.
You're a whole new Shane.
And I'm what's the worst case scenario? They're going to say no. And then I just say, okay, well then never mind. And I don't get the money. And then
life goes on.
It's not worth is not worth it anymore. Like,
Well, your values have shifted.
yeah.
Yeah, I do notice you and Rylan are closer. Not that I don't think I noticed back then that you weren't, but I do remember when I had you, when we did a video, this was years and years ago, and he was always mad because your sleep schedules were off and he felt like he didn't even see you. And I remember him saying that. And then even after we stopped filming, he was still on it. And you were like,
yeah.
see, we've opened the can of worms and now.
He was mad.
Mm-hmm. And I could feel it. And I was like, oh, because I knew you worked late. And I knew, like, if I always worry about texting people late. I'm like, oh, Shane will be up. Like, I just never was concerned about that. But then I was like, oh, but Rylan's not. Because he gets up early. Like,
Gets up early and also like,
or regular time, I should say. Early for us. We are not morning people. But
No.
like, people get up at 7 all the time.
I think like, and I don't know if any workaholics out there can relate to this feeling. I grew up kind of being like the dad almost. And then once YouTube really happened, I started kind of supporting my family. And then that kind of supporting my family and working a lot. And it kind of became a thing where it was like, oh, well, he's not coming down for Thanksgiving dinner because he's working and he needs to be working because he's supporting
Like, us, yeah.
And so I kind of got in that headspace, which no fault of anybody, like, but I got into that headspace. And then once I got into a relationship with Rylan, the first couple years of our relationship, I was doing those like really cringy kitchen yellow background videos where I would film
those.
5 videos in a day and then somebody else would edit them. And I'd make the thumbnails, and then I'd have like the whole rest of the week to do nothing. And I felt like a loser, and I was just like, I don't have a job. I'm such a loser. Rylan has a job. He had a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So he'd come home and we'd spend all time together. And then a couple years into that is when TanaCon happened. And then things started happening that really cracked up my workaholic thing. So then he was almost like, who are you? Like, you were this excited, like we would hang out and go on trips and do this and do that. And now you're on your computer all the time and you're obsessed with work. This isn't not what I signed up for. But in my head, I was in that state of mind where I'm like, I have to be doing this.
Yeah, I'm supported. This is what my job is.
At that point, I had employees that I was paying, and I had, family members and houses and things I'm paying for. And I'm like, well, if I don't work and I don't make money, and then all these people are fucked over because of me. And that kind of became, whatever. So
it's toxic, right?
It's toxic. And then once getting canceled and like the financial stuff like stopping, and it was like, oh, now, I mean, Rylan makes his own money, but it was like, oh, wow, like I could have enjoyed life so much more if I wasn't in the headspace of like, oh, I have to keep working to survive, which is crazy because like, what? I don't know.
But we put I feel like societally in the States as a whole, we put a lot of pressure on like earning and like supporting. And if you feel like other people are counting on you, it does suck to like have to let people go or to be like, I can't cover that, or that's an icky feeling. I don't like that either. I understand. And I feel like the weird thing I've realized as a business owner now that I never realized when I worked for like a corporation is that like what you make and what you take away from it are very different things. And it's like shocking how much it takes to run a business. And, when you feel like you're the one that has to start it, that's how I feel like I have to at least be the person that if you stop, nobody else can survive either. And that's kind of shitty. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's my biggest nightmare, having like people. I was lucky at that point. I mean, I had employees and stuff, but I was lucky at that point that I can't imagine if I was running like a company or like making a movie or doing something where there's hundreds of people, like that really, it's really scary.
Yeah, but it sounds like you've turned a new leaf. I know that you seem different in a good way. And I've noticed the shift slowly over time. Like it kind of tracks with what you're saying. And I guess we just haven't kept in that close of touch where I like know exactly, what's going on. But if you could go back in time and give yourself advice, like what would that advice be? Or do you think it should play out this way?
How far back? What era? What
Let's
year?
say like YouTube specific. So like 2009 or something.
Oh, wow. I had an idea for like, me and my friend had this idea for a movie where like, Maybe I should do it. I don't know. But yeah, I love thinking about going back in time. Like, I'm obsessed with time. It scares me. Like, when I fall asleep, I go back to a day in my childhood and I relive it, and then I fall asleep.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know. I think I'm a Cancer, so like, I don't know. So I always think about this. But it's hard because like I would want to give myself advice, but then that would change the trajectory of
Yeah.
everything, right? And now, especially now that I have kids, it's like everything comes back to that because I'm like, well, if any, like butterfly effect, if anything changed, where would I be?
Yeah.
Where would my children
Would we
be?
have them? Yeah.
But if somebody told me, okay, everything's gonna be the same, you'll still meet Rylan, you'll still have the babies, like everything will be the same. I think I would tell my 2009 self specifically, no one is thinking or caring as much about your body as you are. You are going to grow up and it's because that, to me, career stuff aside, eating disorder stuff has been such a whole part of my life, still is a part of my life, still is a day-to-day thing. Like, and I wish I could, I wish I could fix it now. I'm better, but like, I wish I could have really nipped it, at that time, because at that time point, I was like really deep in
Yeah.
the eating stuff. And yeah, it's interesting being married to somebody who like has none of that, and also doesn't understand why I have it. Like, they're like, he'll just, every time I'll start talking about it, he's just like, huh? But you're not fat. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, even if I lost weight or what, in my head, it's always an issue.
It's always, yeah. And you'll always view yourself in the way that your eating disorder wants to
Yeah.
view you, or your body dysmorphia or whatever.
And like, he'll eat a burger and I'll just be like, wow, if I ate a full burger, bun and everything, I would think about that for a week. And I'd be
Oh,
like,
wow,
why'd I
yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's something, I've gotten better, but that is something that it never goes away. I'm in therapy and stuff, but it is a constant, like, okay, like, why am I doing this? So yeah, I wish I could have figured it out. I wish I could have got where I am now in 2009, because then by now I'd be even better.
Yeah. Like the improvement would be even that much better for you in general. And eating disorder stuff is all consuming. And it takes a while to break those patterns, because I like to think of it, I don't know if this gives you any hope, but I like to think of it that our brain is so adaptable, and it loves patterns. It loves to know what to expect. And because you've been programming it without realizing, and not any fault of your own, I'm not saying you're programming it, but it's like, because we've had this way of thinking where we're like, oh my God, I ate a burger, I should feel bad about that, or I should feel some kind of way and I should judge myself. And then, oh my God, now that's the way this is like this, or whatever, right? We've done that over and over. It's almost like we programmed our brain to do that, but we can deprogram it.
Yeah.
You can teach it that like, oh, I can do this and it doesn't have to be a big deal, because who says it has to be?
Right.
And that's really the magic. And that's when like healing, it's happening already, but don't think that it's stuck like that forever.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that when I started therapy in 2020, that was honestly one of the biggest reasons I started therapy, because me and Rylan got into a fight because he was like, I had a night where I fully let him in on where I was at.
Oh, wow.
Like with my eating stuff, my mental stuff, like, and he was like, you need to talk to someone. So I've gotten a lot better. And I think having kids, my biggest fear was always like, I don't want them to pick up any of my habits. And even now, like, the way we feed them and the way we you want your babies to be chubby, because that's what helps their brain develop. Like, I have such a different relationship to, like, I never want my kids to see me walk by a mirror and like suck in and look, I don't want to see that. So the last few years I've been like trying to break that pattern. I'm trying not to wear all black all the time. Like,
I know, I noticed. I like it.
Even though I'm still a little insecure and I have a pillow here, I am just trying to, like, I don't want them to see their dad as like this, wearing dark colors, always sucking in, like always, picking at his food and being like, I don't want them to see that. So I need to so I'm almost there. I'm getting there. But, and the weird thing is, this sounds bad, but the weird thing is, like, the more I've tried to normalize and whatever, my health has actually gotten better. Even if I'm eating things that are bad
Yeah.
and whatever. It's like, oh, my blood work, all these things are getting better because I'm not hyper focusing and like,
You're not stressed out all the time about it.
no. And I mean, it's going to be a lifelong thing, but I definitely am excited and proud that I'm not where I was in 2020.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, kids can be a good motivator for that too. Like, you don't want them to have what you had. And I hear that a lot from my audience, that like, I don't want to give this to them.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, you know, they'll pick up on it unless you work on
I
yourself.
know.
But you're doing great. And they're adorable. I know. So cute.
Oh my gosh. I know. I just love them so much. And I have like, that's another weird thing. Well, whatever.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No, you're
I've been
fine.
talking too much.
I'm like, I think, is there anything else you want me to ask you or anything you'd like to talk about? Oh, I do have a fun question.
Oh.
Ooh, fun question time. What's one conspiracy, since that is your shtick? Is that still your shtick? I would say it's still your shtick.
Yeah.
Is there one that you, like, keeps you up at night, or one you still think about, or one that you're interested in? Also, conspiracy theories turn out to be true a lot.
I know.
And I
I'm like,
still believe that the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese is not baked in one thing and then cut.
I love you, Chucky. He's changed.
Brand new mouse.
He had his moment. He learned. Did he? I don't know. But
Questionable.
yeah, I don't know. You know, conspiracy. It's interesting because I love talking about them. I love falling down the rabbit holes. I love all of it. But I don't know. Like, I guess I'm not like the ones that are really, really scary and really fucked up. I'll talk to you about with Jared, my brother, and like, and those will leave me feeling like, oh God. But yeah, I guess the only one that I would stay up overnight thinking about, I'm really into fake. This isn't even really a theory, but people on the internet who are really fake.
Oh.
To a point where they're two separate people. And then I'm like fascinated by like, what is, okay. So they're doing the whole, like, you know, and this isn't pointing out anybody specific, but they're doing the whole thing. And then what? So they turn the camera off and then it's like, zoop.
I know.
And then they're just, what, are they sitting in like a dark room?
I know.
With, like,
I don't.
nothing on the wall. You know what I mean? Because they're like,
What's your life like? Yeah.
right? It's just like that shit. Because I've definitely met people like that. And like over the years, there's been YouTubers who turn out to be plants and they're actually just like getting paid by, you know, a brand. And like, and then I'll meet them and they have an accent. They're a totally different person. I'm just like, oh my God, stuff like that.
Yeah, it is weird and fascinating.
Industry plants, like things like that, I could really fall down rabbit holes about.
Yes, understandable.
Musicians who like they make it their whole bit that they're like, I'm goth and I'm this and I'm that, and then I'll find out like, oh no, they actually were a Christian singer and they just weren't selling well, so somebody came in and gave them a revamp and this and that. It's like
marketing.
Whoa, that stuff is very interesting.
It is interesting, and that happens a lot actually, which is wild.
Still to now, yeah.
Yeah, fascinating. I agree. Good choice. Any type of content that you're excited to make?
I've been trying to get this movie made. For
I
4
wondered.
years.
I didn't know if you put it. I was like, wanted to ask, but
Oh, I mean, that whole saga, I don't want to bore you, but I mean, it got to, we had the funding and then the company said, actually, we want to make bobbleheads. And I was like, what? Shout out that company. That was funny. And so I left them and they were like, yeah, go make it somewhere else. And I'm like, okay, thanks. It's been 2 years of my life thinking we're making it together, but okay.
wow.
So then that kind of led me down the road of trying to get funding. And so I'm at a place now where we've taken a little pause because my producing partner had some family stuff going on. And in the spring, we're going to jump back in and putting out offers to actors. It's like such a weird thing, trying to get money to get a movie made. And, you know.
Yeah, I don't know the process. That's the thing. It's like, it's a big to do.
I mean,
but that's still your goal, right?
That's my goal. I want to make this movie so bad. Like, I wrote it in 2021. There was a different movie we were trying to make, and then I got this idea for this other one, and I was like, I need to make this. So we went down the whole thing of, we had a poster made, a sizzle reel, like we filmed things for it. We had a couple actors attached. Like, it really was moving. And then just getting people to put money in has been like a nightmare.
Yeah. Maybe 2025 is your year. get the movie made.
And if it isn't, that's the other thing. If it isn't, it isn't. Like, I don't have that thing anymore where I'm like, if I don't make this movie now, I'm gonna like, I'm like, okay, like, and then it wasn't meant to be, which maybe is a bad attitude to have. Maybe I should be more like, but I'm just like, if it's not meant to be, I'll just hang out with my family more. And
well, it's not like it's not like you're not putting the effort in.
No.
So you're putting in the effort, and then you're like, I'll do what I can. I think it's like a healthy balance. It's like a nice boundary between life, work life.
Yeah. Well, what's like a non-problematic way to say this?
You're fine. I don't really know.
Not to S your D too much. But this is the first time I've actually talked about this kind of stuff. And I felt I kind of have talked about this stuff before in videos or, whatever. But really talking about it in a really good headspace has been interesting. Like, I don't know. I didn't know we were going to do this. I thought I actually thought we were going to do a relationship episode with Ryland, and we were going to talk about. So I didn't know we were going to do this, but thank you for kind of not making me do this, but doing this, because like, I don't know. I feel good about what I said. Maybe I'll regret it, but I feel like I think just talking about this stuff helps, but also like being in a good headspace where I am now, like I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I hope I didn't say anything bad.
I think it was good. I felt like it was very balanced. It's like seeing it from all angles versus feeling like it's right or wrong, like not black and white, very gray, which is life. That's how it is. But thank you. I feel good. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good.